Today, web2 monopolies like Steam and Apple are forcing 30% transaction fees on game developers, and they're deplatforming game developers if they include any sort of web3 features inside of their games.
This is Jeff Benson for Unchained, and I'm at ETH Denver. Jacob C.ETH, a former operations lead with Ethereum wallet MetaMask, just released a new game launcher for Web3 alongside the DAO Game 7. So Jacob, what is HyperPlay?
HyperPlay is a Web3 native game launcher. It aggregates the Epic Store, GOG, and our own game store, and allows the player to connect their MetaMask or Wallet Connect wallet into our native desktop application and passes these wallets directly into desktop games.
What's the business model for HyperPlay?
We're trying to create a competitive market between many different game stores so that game developers can choose whatever platform makes sense for them. And our own store, the HyperPlay store, which exists inside of our app, we don't take any cut from the developers' in-game economy. Instead, we have a business model really similar to MetaMask. You can take MetaMask into any dApp. MetaMask doesn't take a cut of that. We have optional convenience features inside of our app that the user can choose to use or not use. And we provide a censorship-resistant platform where developers can build the worlds that they're dreaming of and make better game experiences by bringing the wallet directly into the game itself.
For those people who haven't checked out Web3 games since, say, Axie Infinity, what are they immediately going to notice that's different about HyperPlay?
The previous generation of Web3 games, they all had to accept one of three compromises. Maybe they built the game as a browser game, and developers were building as browser games because they needed to integrate with wallets, and you could do that really well in the browser, but the performance of browser games is really poor, and many players had subpar gameplay experiences because of it. So some other developers, the second kind of compromise was to make a native game, and then you couldn't bring a wallet into a native game, so they made a separate website where all of the NFTs and tokens were swapped. And so every time there was an on-chain action, the player would have to close out the game, go to this separate website, swap some NFT, and then come back, which was both an annoying user experience for the player, and for the game developer, it hurt their revenue because their revenue came from protocol transactions.
How do you think HyperPlay is going to benefit users?
We think that the most inspiring Web3 models are carrying assets from one game world to another game world, or using these for reputation, or using these as collateral in a DeFi protocol. And in fact, when I was at MetaMask, the largest growth was coming from players who were onboarding in countries like the Philippines or Vietnam, Nigeria. These were places where people were historically locked out of the financial system, and they were onboarding to play games, but then they were discovering the whole decentralized finance ecosystem, and they were becoming able to leapfrog the traditional financial system and getting power and community. And for HyperPlay, we want to use gaming and the fun of gaming to bootstrap a new economic system that's more ethical and more sustainable, and that gives power back to its community.
I know this is designed for gaming, but are there potential use cases for non-gamers?
It's definitely possible that you can access other dApps inside of HyperPlay. So we support browser games, so we could also be an app store for Uniswap or Aave and things like that. And we want to make those protocols available to gamers to help gamers discover the world beyond gaming as well. That's actually a really important part of our vision.
Crypto prices have been depressed recently, but Jacob C.ETH and others are quite optimistic about the future of Web3. Let us know in the comments whether you think blockchain gaming has a bright future or if it's still just kind of a fad. This is Jeff Benson for Unchained.